Sweating when you see your opponent grab those chips.
It's tough. It's a big pot. It's a lot on the line. This is some gangster poker from Kenney.
Oh, look what he's doing! Look what he's doing!
He has Vogelsang
This is a direct slap in the face.
D. Peter is gonna be very sticky from his big blinds, as he should. You have money invested. And that's a really good flop for 8-7. He is gonna continuation bet this.
$42.
D. Peters is not gonna give him the chance to make his life tough on future streets, and he check raises the flop. And he's gonna call. Look at that. In this instance, he's right. That's the best hand. That is a complete brick. And now, D. Peters has a decision to make. Did my opponent call me with a hand like ace-king or ace-queen? Dvoress using a time bank chip. You give that hand a free look at a 30% equity stake in the pot. He's gonna check. That's a break. Wow. That is aggressive. That's an overbet. David Peters. Oh my god. Oh, I can't even imagine what it must be like for David Peters right now. Sweating when you see your opponent grab those chips. Grab the single chip to put in a call. Took it back. Looks like Daniel Dvoress has about 3 of those plaques left to get some extra time. Oh my god, what a call. That is ridiculous. What a call.
Eibenger is in the big blind with 7-6 of clubs. Very comfortable post-flop play. Going to try to take a flop here. Flop's a flush draw. Kenney's got the backdoor ace of clubs. It's also a very good board to continuation bet. Your opponent in the big blind, they don't play to 2 or 4 that much. So he is going to make the call.
There's a 6. Now, that's not a great card for Bryn. There's definitely going to be some 5-6, 5-3, 6-3 suited.
He's going to check it back. Thinks it's a bad card. Her card's a jack. So Eibenger probably thinks his 6 is good because he probably expects Kenney to continue firing a 9 on the turn. The question is, does he want to try and value bet and get ace high to call? Or maybe just try to check and keep the pot small.
Eibenger going for a value / block bet here.
Ace queen. This is some gangster poker from Kenney.
Yeah. He's reading Eibenger for exactly what he has.
So Kenney is pretty much representing a jack, you know, like ace jack, king jack, queen jack. Doesn't think Eibenger has a jack because he bets so small. Now if you're Eibenger here, you got to think Kenney's only representing jack. And would Kenney raise a weak jack on river? Say Kenney had like jack 8, jack 7. Wow, he's thinking about calling. Eibenger knows that he bets so small on the river, it's going to induce some bets.
Wow.
Makes the call. Wow,
That's a great call.
excellent play. I think Eibenger just earned himself some fans. That was a very nice call.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're betting the river that small, you have to be willing to sometimes pay it off. So just excellent move. Really great raise by Brink Kenney as well.
I'm a big fan of them.
I like Tsoukernik's strategy, by the way, to raise a little bit larger pre-flop
I think so. I mean,
than some of his opponents. Same.
I ate all of mine. And what do you think is the luckiest fruit?
Good question.
There's nothing like luckiest fruit. I don't believe in those things.
Lucky fruit, is that you say?
Need every
Yeah,
edge
what do
I
you think
can.
is the luckiest fruit?
Isn't it a
Vogelsang with bottom pair. Tsoukernik with the overs and the gut shot.
Oh, Dwyer with the lucky mangoes.
From Japan?
112.
He's going to raise here. Leon has overs with the gut shot. Might not want to fold just yet.
Not a guy that likes to fold. I probably would peel once here also.
And he does peel. Pot is now 302,000 chips. These two tangled earlier on, both players with the nuts. They chopped it up.
Obviously, you like it better if there's a heart on the flop.
Unlikely to chop this one.
Just like
Vogelsang has about a pot size bet left, and he checks. Leon has picked up more outs, by the way. Can also catch an 8 to go along with a 9, a queen, or a jack.
90.
Slight hesitation there from Tsoukernik. I wonder how Vogelsang will interpret that.
If only Leon was wearing a scarf. Vogelsang getting a little bit more than 4-1. And with all those draws out there, hard to imagine him folding this.
Yeah, my guess was that, and look, I have no idea what's going on in Vogelsang's brain because he's a really good player, but it felt like a cheap showdown was something that Vogelsang was after when he checked there.
There's the call.
Yeah.
Pot is now 482,000.
And on non-scary rivers, I think he might call again.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting, depending on what this river is. Another 10.
That is not a scary river.
That
is
a terrible card for Tsoukernik, because now it's just not really all that believable. I don't know if he's betting an 8 on the turn. Maybe he's betting an overpair on the turn, but maybe not. And more often than not, that meant they weren't going to. And look at this.
Oh, my goodness. What hands can he move all in with?
10s. A 10.
10?
A 10.
So he's repping a 10 or nothing?
I mean, aces. You could do it with aces, I guess, as
What
well.
about an 8?
I just don't believe that he'd bet. I don't believe that he's betting an 8 on the turn and then moving all in with an 8. Like, what's he trying to get called by? I mean, think about it. If he has a big hand, he's trying to. I mean, keep in mind his all in.
Oh, look what he's doing! Look what he's doing!
He has Vogelsang.
This is a direct slap in the face to Christoph Vogelsang. Shade right there.
I'd be shocked if he folded this.
I would also be shocked if he folded it. This is like one of the best cards that could have hit the river for him.
Yeah, but it is for all of his chips. So, you give the guy. This is one of those times where, I expect him to take his time, and he should. I would take a long time on this decision as well, just to make sure there's just too many draws that missed, and there's the call.
There's the call.
When did you call? Just with 7.
Wow.
5-7. Wow. Very nice.
He's saying very nice, but I don't think he means very nice.
Nice call.
I have a 10. What?
Yeah,
I have the thing.
I took an acting class. I took an acting class a long time ago, and that would be called what, subtext.
Crazy hand.
Right.
Pretty good. He's going to opt to bet. Which is actually going to make it a little bit easier, I think, to play in this situation. Rui Cal's got a draw to the nuts on a connected board. See what he's going to go ahead and take a turn card. Ooh. So Rui Cal still has a straight draw, but picks up flush draw outs. Not even with mid pair. So he checks it back. River's a queen. Rui Cal just king high. Needs a stab here if he wants to win this pot. It's 1.5 million in the middle. It's gonna reach for some chips.
Pretty credibly rep a full house. That's the bet to win.
It's very hard for Ivan to even call here with mid pair.
Flush gets there as well. Doesn't happen a lot, but doesn't help him.
The hands Ivan usually beats is King 10 and King Jack. Every other hand would be a mate hand. Ivan, I mean, he's made some big calls in the past. He made that call. He made the call.
What an incredible call. I think in a previous situation, Lamb would have been very tempted to just go all in, but now with another big stack, or an even bigger stack in the tournament, might be tempted to limp, to just check, I'm sorry.
He's going to take a free flop because Schulman is very deep stack right now.
Avoided the trap there.
Here comes the flop. Jack 8-6. Schulman with the best hand. Chow looking for a 10, but Lamb has 2 of the 10s, and Schulman checks. Schulman's been quite tricky.
Also thinks that if I blow up the pot here, I might be in a really tough turn spot if a 7 or 10 or 9 rolls off. Good bet by Lamb, but not going to work in this case.
I think given how deep Schulman is with Lamb, he's probably not going to raise. So he's just going to call. Also, Lamb is on dealer button. He can really have like random 2 pair, like Jack 6, Jack 8, 8-6. Very reasonable.
Yeah.
Chow's going to come along with his inside straight draw. He can make the nuts by hitting a 10.
There's a lot of really cool turns to bluff for Lamb because he blocks possible nut straights.
Turn card is an 8.
It's a pretty good guard for Schulman.
It's the next brick in 2 minutes.
Pretty unlikely somebody bets an 8 on this flop.
So Ben Lamb, he's seen 2 opponents call him. He probably knows he's not ahead. Usually someone will have at least a jack by the turn. Not sure if he can represent too much. Although he could represent like a flop 2 pair that turned into a full house. Depends if he wants to take that. He has lost a lot of chips recently. We don't know if that will affect his decision at all. He's going for it.
Oh, this is a really good bet. I really like the aggression here.
445,000.
It's pretty unlikely Schulman limps something with an 8. It's way more common that he has a jack here.
Yeah, he probably puts Schulman on a hand like Queen Jack, Jack 10, maybe like a Jack 9, King Jack. Something that might not be able to stand a lot of heat. Lamb is pretty much just purely bluffing here. Pocket 10s. Schulman's going to make the call. Pocket kings. He's keeping the pot controlled, not letting his opponents raise him by just check calling. Chow here of queen 9 offsuit just really doesn't have anything. He's drawing dead, likely to let it go. Unless he's got some really crafty play where he can trying to represent an 8, but he's going to fold. So Lamb really needs a 10.
At this point, it becomes really scary for Lamb. Didn't expect to get called on the turn quite often.
So river card is a 9. Lamb, like you said, has the 2-10, so he blocks those straights for his opponents.
And don't forget, he's a very experienced PLO player. This is a spot that comes up a lot in Omaha. You can represent a lot of things when you have blockers to a strong hand.
Let's point out there's a flush on the river. He might not think that Schulman would play a flush draw this passively, although he did in the past. Lamb can represent a lot of hands. He can represent a full house, a flush, maybe a straight. When you bet in a turn, this is the type of card you might want to consider keep firing because it's quite scary for someone to check call to flop and turn. Schulman has a hand like ace-jack, like, I don't know if he's going to call river bet.
Yeah. I mean, even with kings, he's in an incredibly tough spot. Pretty much everything that was bluffing gets there, right? In your eyes.
And the thing is, when you're bluff catching, you got to put your opponents on bluffs, and there's no real bluffs besides hands that turn themselves into a bluff like this. Like there's no missed flush draw on the flop. Got there. So that's why he's firing this, looked like he's firing this big bet. 1,030,000.
I think this is a great bluff. This is just shows really good understanding of the situation. He picked a hand that he can bluff future streets with. This is really well planned out.
I think Lamb knows that Schulman has less experience in short deck as well, but he does know he's pretty good at hand reading. So this looks like a big hand. Lamb is on the dealer button. He can have any 2 cards on the flop.
Good points.
He could have Jack 8. He could have 6-8. He could have a flush, any kind of flush draw.
Yeah.
You know, he could be playing like a hand like Queen 7 of spades.
4.5,
Schulman is very suspicious. Some players might instantly let this go, but he knows that Lamb's a good player.
I'll be amazed if he finds a call here.
So Schulman in the tank for 1 minute. He's thinking about a lot of things like the stack sizes. Like, maybe he's putting a lot of pressure on me because I'm a big stack as well. Some players like to bluff players who, you know, are kind of in that middling situation. Schulman's got very good intuition. You're probably thinking, I should fold based on how it ran out, how he's betting into me, but I know Ben Lamb can bluff this spot. This is real poker right now, just trying to figure out what your opponent's trying to do.
2 great players in a really marginal situation. God, you hate to see somebody counting it out when you're bluffing. Setting apart the chips. So much easier to just grab them and put in the call.
So Schulman now in the tank for 2 minutes. Quite possibly one of the longest tanks we've seen so far today. It's tough. It's a big pot. It's a lot on the line. Sometimes you don't want to make the call and be like, yeah, you just seen a full house. You're like, man, I should have folded. So a lot of emotions running into this play as well.
How many players does a 60K have?
I'm not sure where Schulman's looking at now. Very well experienced player.
I think this is an incredible bluff. I think this is really well planned out. If Nick Schulman makes the call here, I'm going to be absolutely amazed. That would be the call of the tournament for me. Oh my god, he makes the call.
Sick call. Pocket kings.
That is incredible. That is incredible. What a call.
Schulman showing you why he's one of the best in game. He doesn't have that much experience in short deck. Makes one of the sickest calls of the tournament.
That must feel sickening for Ben Lam. Great bluff by him. Really well technically put together bluff there.
Yeah, Ben Lam not really representing any obvious bluffs. Still gets picked off.